All right, so we are here with another great interview, and I have my client here, Sierrah Chavis. Is it Chavis?
It's Chavis. Yep.
That's what I thought. So yeah, so Sierrah Chavis, and she wrote her book. You know what? I love your book because you talked about a lot of different things in your book. So we're going to talk about that today.
Mhm.
So let's first talk about how you even found me. Do you remember how you came across me?
I remember like searching for different self publishers, and then your name came up. I don't even know how it came up, and I
Uh,
was like, oh wow, because most people like they were popping up were like out of the country or like they weren't local necessarily. So, and then you were black, a woman. You check all my boxes. So
Absolutely. So talk
yes.
to us about where you were, like when you first got with me, because you actually went through my elite program. And
Yeah.
so talk to us about where you were, like before you came in regards to writing your book.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, I had been journaling a lot prior to like actually making the decision to, become an author. Um, Being an author was never really kind of I never really saw that in my future, I should say. But I had been documenting, journaling, just like things that had happened in my life. Um, and I was it was more so for me, like a space for me to just kind of like, just dump everything on paper and like express myself, part of my healing journey. So like when I was kind of dibbling dabbling making the decision of whether or not I should even publish this, I still, even when I met you, I still didn't really like, I wasn't 100% for sure if I even wanted to do it. I was like, I wanted to go through the writing process with you and like learn, because you offered like that mentorship piece as well. But just like the idea of publishing a book and like letting like that part of my life be seen and known and heard was very scary for me, and it was still a lot of pain and hurt even writing it. Like it brought up a lot for me. So I would say I was on my healing journey when I before I published the book. I was still healing. There was still a lot of parts of me that was still healing. I was in a relationship. We were engaged to be married, so there were things that were coming up for me that was really hard to like even relive or rehash. There's a lot that he didn't know that I was still in the process of like sharing. So it was a part of me to like heal and like let go, but it was hard. It was a hard process.
Oh wow. I didn't even realize that. I do know that I had to kind of push you a little bit to go a little bit deeper.
Mhm.
But I didn't
Yes.
know that there were things that your now husband, he was your fiance then. I didn't know that there were things that he didn't know and that, you guys were having like those conversations behind the scenes. So that's very
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how would you say writing the book affected your relationship? Did it draw you closer? Did it, you know, were there some things that like drew you guys apart? Like what did that look like?
No, I definitely think, I mean, I hope it didn't draw us apart. I
Well, y'all
hope.
got married, so I know
But
that could be it.
right. No, it definitely brought us closer. And then COVID was like kind of in the midst of that as well, like that
Mhm.
happened. So we were like kind of, I would say, forced to be around each other a lot more, and then writing the book and having those conversations. So it definitely was a lot of time to talk. Um then, if it wasn't COVID, I think we would have just kind of I don't know. I don't know how easy it would have been to have those conversations, but um it definitely was an opportunity for him. Like there was parts of it that he knew, but going deep, as you said, you had me go deep and
Mhm.
deeper. Then those things he didn't know. I kept things very surface,
Yeah.
and part of it was to protect him and myself, if I may, like, because like I was just protecting a piece of myself that like it was really hard and hurtful. And so like, but he helped me in those areas, and I didn't know that I really needed a lot of help and support in those areas because I had kind of just shut it out of my life. Like I didn't think about it until I had to write. So
Mhm.
um it did help me to open up a lot more, help me to grow, and he helped me through that process. I mean, he was, I would like read it back to him and he'll be like, okay, wait a minute, let's talk about that. And like that helped unlock some stuff too, like for me to help go deeper, even more deeper than where I was going. So,
Yeah, I tell people all the time, writing is therapy. And a lot of
mhm.
times when we're writing, especially when we're writing our own story, we don't really realize we think we've healed from them until we start writing them. And it's like, whoa. And then all the emotions start
Yeah.
coming back. But writing is a good way to just, like you said, release. You were like, I'm just going to write this book. I'm just going to put it all out there and I'm just going to put it behind me. And that's what you did.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's awesome. So talk to us about because you also hit Amazon bestseller, so you are a best-selling author too, who hit in several categories.
Yeah.
So that was a nice surprise.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, it was nice. I think for me, like I never dreamed or really imagined myself writing.
Yeah,
Or well, I should say becoming an author. So to become a bestseller on Amazon was really, just it was an honor. It was something that was unexpected. It was something that I was really excited about. But I think for me too, it like I never imagined myself being on that platform or having
yeah.
myself excuse me, like just being exposed in that way.
Mhm.
So yeah, very fulfilling. I love writing. I love being able to share my story, and the book helped like unlock other avenues for me as well. So it was more than just about the book. Like I never got into it like thinking I was gonna make money off of it either. Like that was never my mindset, I guess, going into this. It really wasn't. It was more so like, okay, I want to help other people that have been in a similar situation that I have been in. And for me, like that was more important than me making money.
Mhm.
um but it definitely helped. I mean, even like having the bestseller helped, in many ways. But yeah, I mean, it's never I guess my focus initially going into all of this.
Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, I think you should chase the impact and then the income follows. Like, I
Yeah.
tell people that all the time. Like, you should be chasing the impact. And I know that you talked about several things in your book. You talked about, I think you said that you had cancer at one time, right? And then your daughter had,
Yeah.
right. So
Mhm.
talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, so I was really young when I got diagnosed. I was in my mid 20s. I guess you say early to mid 20s when I got diagnosed originally. Mine came after a miscarriage. And my HCC numbers kept going up. They couldn't understand why, but there was a tumor growing in between my uterus walls that had developed after I had miscarried. And so that was cancerous, and it caught mine super early, so it hadn't spread to any other parts of my, parts of my body. But they immediately started me on chemo, and I did chemo for about 6 months, and then I did radiation right after. So, and I took medication all the way up to a year. But I've been cancer free after that. I was able to still have children, so that didn't
Yeah.
prevent me from having children afterwards. And I mean, that process helped me in so many ways. And then my daughter got diagnosed with a form of brain, I would say brain cancer. I mean, it was a very small form of it, and but they treated it as if it was, because it was a brain bleed. So she had a brain bleed in her brain that they call it like I forgot what they call it, but it's like basically where the blood vessels in her brain pop, they burst essentially. And
Okay.
so it caused bleeding and swelling in her left back brain. And so she was on, medicine for that,
Mhm.
so the swelling could go down. Then they were able to operate and remove the tumor. But it took basically like 8 months for the swelling to go down, for them to be able to remove the tumor from her brain, that where the blood vessels had burst. So she was young. She was only 4 at the time,
Yeah.
so it was really scary, very young for her. But
Yeah.
I always say, like, all those things make us who we are. It makes us strong and resilient. She's one of the strongest little girls I know. She's 12, about to be 13
Mhm.
soon. And, like, it's just to see her resiliency and see her strength through that process. She's such a strong little girl then, and she's just as strong now, and that didn't stop her. So
Wow. Yeah. Because I don't know what I would do. Like watching my child have to go through something like that, like the brain, like, oh my gosh. So kudos to y'all
yeah.
and, just being able to get through that, the cancer and her situation. So you guys are fine. Everything is fine now, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're 100% fine. It's just it's nothing but God. And I do, like,
Hmm.
you're in the situation. Sometimes it's hard to see. You think you're the only one that's going through it, right? And, like,
Yeah.
that's even in mine. I talk about it in my book. Like, I felt like I was the only one that was experiencing this. And I think I even said it in my book. Like, it was an older woman when I was going through my chemo visits. It was an older woman that was there the same time that I was there, and we were each other's kind of support. But I
Hmm.
remember her telling me something that stood out to me. I was kind of just venting. I was kind of sad that day. Don't know exactly why I was sad, but I remember her telling me, like, you know, basically, this is not this not the end of your story. Like, this is just a part of it. But don't let this break you. Let this make you be stronger and better. And she had been through like 2 or 3 different sets of cancer. I mean, it just seemed like, wow, like, you've been through it more than I have. And here I
Hmm.
am, like, complaining to you about my situation. And this is like your third or fourth time being diagnosed. And each time you've beat it, and yeah, it may have come back a little more aggressive each time, but her spirit. So it was like, for me, I took that as like, hey, you got to keep fighting. This is not the end of your story, and God got something bigger and better for you. So, and the same thing with my daughter went through it. She was so young, um and I felt so helpless. I felt so like defeated. I felt like, why me, right? Like, why my daughter? Why me? What did I do? And I questioned everything. And I just remember, like, hearing that voice, like, don't let this beat you, you be it. And, like, don't let this defeat you, don't let this bring you down. Like, you got to keep fighting. She needs you to keep fighting for her. And so, like, I pushed through it. And, like, as much as I wanted to cry, I knew that God had her. And I remember her telling me one day, she was 4 years old, but I remember we were in ICU, and I remember her looking over to me, and I was really sad, and I had been crying, but she had woken up, and I was like trying not to cry, and she was like, "Mommy, I'm gonna be okay. God got me," and that was all she
Oh,
said at 4 years
yeah.
old. And
Mhm.
I just remember, like, God, like, that just, like, oh my gosh, like, at 4 years old, she knew,
Yeah.
like, hey, Mom, I'm good. Like, I got this. Like, we're gonna be okay. That was it for me. Like, that did it for me. So
I, that does it for me. Like I'm like, wow, that is so courageous. No, I'm serious. That
yeah,
is so courageous. So talk to us about, all right, so you wrote the book, put the book out. Now, after you put the book out, you did a lot of stuff. Like you were on television, you got into the
yeah.
newspaper, and you're still doing things. So talk to us about like what happened once you dropped the book and the opportunities that opened up.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many. There were people that were reaching out. For me, it was the people that reached out to me, DM'd me, still to this day, that was like, "Hey, I bought your book," and it, or they'll quote things that I've said in my book, and they're like, this really helped me get through my situation. I talked about my domestic violence. I talked about the cancer. I talked about just, like, the depression, a part of where I went through. Like, I went through a state of depression. Didn't know I was depressed, but I was, like,
Mhm.
and, like, just different parts of the book that people would say, hey, like, thank you for, just sharing. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being courageous enough to tell your story, because it's helping me to tell mine. It's helping me to come out and get out of my situation. And, so that to me has been the biggest thing. Just hearing people's thoughts about what I've shared and how it's helped them, is the biggest reward. Of course, like, being able to be invited to, some of the like news coverings, like, has been really helpful and impactful. And it's really cool to go and share my book and share my story, and for them to like want me to share my story, like, because that's the thing, like, they'll reach out, or I'll reach out to them if I feel compelled to, and like they're like, hey, we invite you to come and share. And like, just being on different platforms. I mean, like, it's TV, there's been podcasts I've been a part of to share my story. There's been articles that I've been a part of to capture some of my story. So it's been really cool. There's been radio as well. All of them are really great, and it's opportunity for me to share. And then going to different speaking events. I've been had the opportunity to go and speak to women empowerment groups, or speak at conferences, and
Mm-hmm.
speak at different church events on around domestic violence, around mental health, specific topics to that. And they were asking me to invite me to share my story. And so I've been able to do that on, oh gosh, numerous occasions. Like, it's
Yeah.
been countless. And it's all great. I mean, the book helps with that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like, you're to them, you're an expert in that area.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
it gives you some credibility. um but I think, like, for me, the like I said, the reward in itself is people coming up to me after those events, or reaching out to me after the television the show or whatever hits, and they're like, hey, thank you, that helped me. So that to me is the biggest reward.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
The impact. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So, did you
Yeah.
expect for any of that to happen, or were you just kind of like, I'm just gonna write this book and just see what happens? Because I told you, I was like, get ready, because when this book drops,
Yeah.
doors are gonna start opening. You were like, okay, but
Yeah.
I don't think you really grasped like how fast that was
Mm.
gonna happen.
No, I didn't. I mean, like I said earlier, like, I didn't, for me, it was just about getting the story out there. And
Yeah.
I did it scared. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
you and I had a conversation about it. I think you even told me, do it afraid, like, do it
Yep.
scared. And like, I did it afraid. Like, I did it still kind of like, even up to the last day that I turned in the final copy, I was still like, I
Mhm.
think you and I went back and forth on it. Like, and I think I can remember just being hesitant. Like, I don't know, Shannon. I don't know about, like, I think it still needs some more tweaking. You were like, no, Sierra, it's good. Like, we're gonna push this in. And
Mhm.
I did it, and I was like, and then when you told me it was like going to print, I was like, crap. Like, no, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
Revert. But I did it, and I did it afraid. I did it very vulnerable. Like,
Mhm.
it was very vulnerable. I did it, like, I mean, I felt naked, like, afterwards, like, completely
Mhm.
naked. Like, I just exposed my body to the public, and it was like, wow, what the heck did I just get myself into? But yes, you did have a conversation with me. You told me doors are going to open up, and it did. It honestly did. And I can honestly say, like, it's been a wonderful and amazing journey. I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Mhm.
I did not expect it to open up so fast, so soon, like,
Mhm.
but it, I'm embracing it now. It was hard in the beginning to because I was like, okay, I wrote the book. Do I really want to now, like, go out here and, like, you know, I don't know, like, promote it? Like, okay, I wrote the book, but like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know? Um, but it was honestly, people were reaching out to me.
Right.
I had did some promotions, obviously I had worked with like a PR firm for a short time, and
Mhm.
like, to help me kind of like get my social media and get things kind of, jumping around the book and the buzz around it. But then, like, once that all kind of, in a sense, kind of like died down a bit, it was like, I was like, okay, cool. All right, that's great. And promoted, I did what you told me to do. But then it was like, no, people just was like, no, we want you to come speak. We want you to come do this. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
no, the buzz is over. Like,
No,
the
it's not.
buzz is
It's just beginning.
right.
And that's what a lot of authors think. Number one, once they get to the finish line and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I should turn this in, then they start turning backwards. And then before you know it, that draft has been in their computer for 10 years, 5 years, 7 years, right? And they're like, I'm still working on it, I'm still working on it. And it's like a lot of times the book is done, but the fear keeps them stuck. And sometimes you just
Yeah.
have to have somebody just push you off the ledge and just say, yes, it's okay the way that it is, and then a lot of authors also run into, all right, I'm just going to talk about this book 3 times after my mama buys it and my aunties and uncles buy it. That's it. And it's like, no, that's just the beginning. Now it's time to really create the impact that you wanted to create. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that you just stuck with it, even in fear. You just still showed up because I couldn't tell you were scared anymore. I was like, you don't look scared to me, but you were doing an amazing job. And then you're an educator, right? You're a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So, all of that just helps so much as well. Like, being able to be a teacher and an educator and someone that people could relate to. Because when we think of teachers, we think of that distance, right? Like, I can't relate to my teacher,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Right.
how did that help you even in the teaching realm? Like, with writing the book and everything?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I was in a space to kind of help the next generation
Mhm.
um of of our youth. I mean, they are our next generation, and so it was really a area for me that made the most sense. I mean, and I'm not teaching anymore. I'm in nonprofit now,
Oh,
but I
wow.
would say that helped elevate me. The book, the writing helped elevate me in other spaces because I found my passion now in nonprofit. So like, when I wrote the book or I was writing the book, I was teaching, I was in education. I had been in education for a while, but I understood that like our next generation of like leaders and the people that I was teaching, they needed somebody that could just be authentic and be themselves and like say, hey, I've come from this space, this place. I've been there. I've experienced life. I understand what it looks like, but I came on the other side of it. So, we're not perfect. I'm human. I think a lot of people like
Yeah.
even like people just think that teachers are just like this perfect, like everything's been perfect,
Yeah,
like everything's been
exactly.
lined up, but it's not like that. Like we're humans, and we have a story. We all have
Mhm.
different stories. So now that I'm in the nonprofit world in space again, like it's a part of my story,
Yep.
and it's a part of what I share to be able to help individuals that I serve and I work with. And so that's even, kind of neat now too, because I'm on a different side of things, but
Hmm.
I get to full circle see and people understand. And even the day I had with my coworkers, like, oh my God, she's like, I just Googled you and like what came up was like so cool. Like you're an author. I did not know that about you. And I was like, yeah. And it was like, why don't you talk about that more? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't, and maybe I should talk about it more. I didn't think I feel like I don't want to be too like, I don't know the word for it. Like
You don't want
bashful,
to
is that a
let your
word?
light shine.
I guess that's what it is. She was just like, you should talk about that more. And I was like, I don't know if I should, but I find spaces where I do say it, it does come up, but
Hmm.
I'm not just going around and be like, I'm an author, I'm an author. Like I don't know, like I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
you want me to
know.
say,
Yeah, I
but
know.
it's just different. But the fact that she was like, I Googled you, you're Googleable, and I was like, okay, thank you. I know how to say that. I know how to say that.
That's pretty awesome.
And
That's
I was like,
pretty
but why are you
awesome.
Googling me? That was the other
Yeah, now that is
question.
a question too. Now, why are you Googling? So what's next? So I know that you've written a few books, right? So now that
Yeah.
you learned how to write books, now you're just writing more books, which is awesome because now you have a whole new skill set. Learn it once, and then you just keep.
I know. And that helped me because I would never have, like I said, you kind of gave me that platform and
Mhm.
showed me how to do it, right?
Yeah.
And prior to that, I would never had. known that. I mean, I probably could have researched it, but it honestly, I don't feel like I would have had the same connection or had the same willpower to want to had I not taken like your program and follow the steps and did what I need to do, because yeah, that was a process, and it showed me what I could do, right, and like what I could become. And so, yeah, I mean, I've written other books, and I just launched my children's book over last summer, which was really cool. My first time writing a children's book. I've always done self-help books and, like, just come from a more serious kind of place.
Hmm.
But the children's book was really cool because I got to tap into like my culture, like where how I grew up, and on a kid level.
Yeah.
And my kids really inspired me and helped me to write that book because I'm not a kid, obviously, but I also wanted to like give them something to be proud of that could represent them in a sense. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So tell everybody the name of all your books now.
Oh yeah. So no shame in my pain.
Hmm.
We did a collab project
Yes, we did.
um as well. And then we
From Pain to
I did,
Power.
yeah, what was it? I'm sorry.
From Pain to Power.
From Pain to Power. Yep, From Pain to Power. That was a really, and that's a good book. I mean, I
Mhm.
went back and reread that book the other day because I was cleaning off my bookshelf, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot about this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
To go back and reread it. It was like, wow, this is okay. From Pain to Power, and then I did another collab project, but I brought in my mom who wrote with me,
Oh
and two
wow.
of my best friends who wrote with me. And that one is called Dear World, What I Haven't Told You, and it's about mental health.
Yeah.
And so really focusing on like the different, all my friends wrote, or my mom wrote a chapter, two of my friends wrote a chapter, and they each were telling their own story about like how they overcame their own mental health challenges or areas that they felt like that they were just ready to give up, throw the towel in. So that was a really cool book to be a part of, and then just to like see them like, for none of them had ever written a book, so it was kind of cool to walk them through some of the same things you walked me through. And I found myself even being like, go deeper. The same thing you would tell me. So I'm like, oh, I hear Shannon in the back of my head right now telling me to go deeper. And then I wrote my children's book. And I wrote a poetry book, but the poetry book was really just, it was something fun to do. And
Yeah.
it was a challenge I was a part of. It wasn't anything I took serious. I shouldn't say that, but I am saying it. Um, but yeah, so the children's book is called Dance of Colors,
Hmm.
Caribbean Rhythms and Family Traditions. So it's talking about my Guyanese and Bajan upbringing, and from a child's perspective. So
Oh wow. Yeah, you
yeah.
busy. But that's
Yeah.
why you're one of my favorite clients. That's why I always come back because you actually you do the work, you do the work.
Yeah.
And
Well, you helped me. And seriously, people have asked me like, who did you go through? And I always tell them, you gotta start with Shannon. Like, if nothing else, like, you can write your book, fine, whatever, but at least start with Shannon. And I always tell, I have had several people that asked me, like, who did you go through? I'm like, you gotta go through Pop Publishing. You gotta go through Shannon first. Like, if nothing else, to
Mhm.
get that foundation, and
Yeah.
then like spread your wings and fly. But like, you gotta have the foundation, especially if you've never written a book, because I
Right.
do feel like that starter guide helped kickstart now my other books that I've written and where I'm at now. And like, I just found out my Dance of Colors book was at the Lincoln Center, and one of the artists, she's a professor at NYU, she danced to my book,
Oh
and like they
wow.
sold over 70 units, like paid full price because no one reached out to me to get author copies. So I was like, fine. So they
Mhm.
paid the $20 on Amazon and bought the books. But it was just really cool to see. But again, like, I wouldn't have had that. Honestly, I wouldn't have been an author had I not started with your program. I don't think I honestly would have been. I don't think I would have. That wouldn't been, because it wasn't in my mindset to do it to begin with until I met you, and then you and I had the conversation and we started writing. So Yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for you. I've always been grateful for you and just the laying the foundation down for me and helping me find my voice. Because I think that was the biggest thing
Yeah.
was like I was writing, but I was just writing for me. But you
Mhm.
helped me write not just for me, but helping other women, helping other young girls. And like it even spiraled into Bossy Girl and how I created Bossy Girl because for me, all of that was a part of my story. So,
Well, awesome. Well, I thank you
yeah.
so much. Like I just
Yeah, thank
watching your
you.
journey. You finally got your little boy. I was like, yes, she finally
Yes.
got her son.
I got my boy, and
I
I'm
know
done.
your husband is like, yes.
He's over the moon happy. Yeah.
Yes. So I am so excited for you guys. So make sure you guys go check out No Shame in My Pain. How can they find you online?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. I still have my author underscore Sierrah Chavis that I created around No Shame in My Pain. And I post things on there. You can find me at WeChange.org, which is my Instagram, LinkedIn. We Change is WI Changed.org, ORG. I'm on LinkedIn, Sierrah Chavis, Facebook. I have my website, SierrahChavis.com. Really anywhere.
Yep.
Just tap in. I like to talk. I like to have conversations. So if you message me, I'm probably gonna say let's do a virtual chat or let's meet up for coffee or lunch because I like to do so.
All right, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all go follow Sierrah Chavis. Check out all of her books. And thank you so much for coming on, Sierra. And
Thank you.
just one moment.